Hey, Brightmoor Kids, we get to celebrate today. Why, you ask? This is Labor Day weekend. School has started, or it's about to start for some of you. We're finishing up on Joseph Living the Dream series. One last time, let's check in with Boudreaux to see what he has to say about Joseph in our lesson today.
What's up, kids? It's me, Boudreaux here. We're continuing our series called Living a Dream. I want to tell you a little story about when I was a little kid. I had a big dream about being a fireman. You know, I wanted to be able to fight fires, save people's lives, and climb all the way up in those tall buildings. I got a question for you. What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be an artist. I want to be a video game designer when I grow up.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a firefighter.
When I grow up, I want to be a chef.
When I grow up, I want to be a president.
When I grow up, I want to be a police officer.
Everybody wants to be successful in whatever they do, whether they're going to be a lawyer or a teacher, or one of them doctors, or even a fruit slicing ninja. Well, you don't have to wait until you get older to be a success. You can be a success right now. Joseph, he was a success. He was a successful son. He was a successful servant in the Potiphar's house. He was even successful in prison. They put him in charge of the whole place. And then he was put in second in command under Pharaoh. He led an entire nation. Now that is what I call successful. Was there something special about Joseph? Did he possess some kind of superhero powers? Was he just lucky? How did he become such a success? Well, the answer's simple. He was faithful. Joseph was faithful in every situation that God put him through. And that is how you can be a success too. All you got to do is be faithful, do what's right, and do what God's taught you. So, if you want to be a success, be faithful in every moment and every situation. Today, we're going to look back at all of the moments in Joseph's life where he had to be faithful to become the man that God told him to be. I cannot wait until we can learn how to be faithful in the moment. Well, I'm Boudreaux telling you, keep living a dream, baby.
Throughout his life, Joseph had opportunity to doubt God and do the wrong thing. He could have lashed out against his family. He could have given into temptation with Potiphar's house, turned his back on God, refused to interpret Pharaoh's dream, or sought revenge against his brothers. Instead, Joseph was faithful in every moment of his life. He realized that one mistake or wrong choice could detour God's plan for his life. No matter what he faced, he was faithful. You see, every moment counts. If we will follow God and be faithful in every moment, God will bring about success in our lives, just as he did in Joseph's life. Now, you ready for it? What's up?
What is up, children? I'm Devontae, and this is our What's Up. It is God wants me to be faithful. What is being faithful? It means full of faith. Faithful. Full of faith, meaning you are willing to do the things that God has called us to do and asked us to do. That can be in anything, whether that be telling somebody about Jesus, be faithful in that. Whether that be doing your homework, be faithful in that. Whether that be honoring your parents, you can be faithful in that. There's so many different areas of our life that we can be faithful. Okay, so let's have the girls repeat after me, okay? So stand to your feet. I'll give you 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1 to stand to your feet. All ready? Repeat after me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. God wants me to be faithful. Great job, ladies. You can take a seat. I know that was fast, but you don't get redemption this time. All right, boys, stand to your feet. See if you can be louder than the girls. Okay, are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. God wants me to be faithful. Great job, boys. Now let's have the girls and the boys stand up together. We're all gonna repeat after me on the count of 3. Uno, y dos, y tres. God wants me to be faithful. Great job, boys and girls. Hopefully you learned some Spanish and you learned our what's up.
Hey kids, it's your favorite famous daredevil, Bolt Manglespleen. And it's time for another stunt. But before we do that, let's learn today's power verse. Today's power verse says,
For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Hebrews 3:14.
hot diggity dog. That was a great power verse. But you know what? I'm gonna need some help from my future stunt artists out there. So let's have all the boys stand up and say it with me on the count of 3. All right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Hebrews 3:14.
Great job, boys. You can have a seat. Now I need all the girl daredevils out there to stand up and say the power verse with old Bolt on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Hebrews 3:14.
Great job. You can sit down. Now, let's go to the stunt. Hey kids, here we are on location to my final stunt. But before we get to that, today's power verse has got me thinking. Old Bolt's head thinking for the last time, hopefully, that our power verse says that we should be faithful to God. Just like my crew and me have been faithful to doing these stunts for you every single week. Look, life is gonna be full of all kinds of moments. If we are faithful to God, He will help us through those and be with us to the end, right? All right, so let's have everybody stand up and we'll do the power verse together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Hebrews 3:14.
All right, everybody, you can sit down. Good job. Now, for Bolt's final stunt, I saved the best for last. Here we are at a parking lot at the local zoo. I asked them, and they kind of agreed to let me wrestle one of the most ferocious animals they have at this place. That's right, kids. Old Bolt is going to wrestle a lion. We're gonna do it out here. I can't wait to do this. Everybody, including my bubby, Reggie, told me not to do this, but I said, hey, look, it's the last week. The kids have been faithful, so we're gonna give them the show of their life. Now I'm gonna sneak over into the savannah area, and hopefully we'll be able to get that old lion to come out and fight old Bolt. You ready? All right, here we go. Hey, kids, I'm pretty sure he's gonna... Here he comes. All right. Oh, all right, time out. Okay, Reggie, your cousin hit me too hard. We're sprawl. Hey guys, looks like victorious. That's right, Bolt Manglespleen just wrestled a ferocious, man-eating lion, and I won. No, on me. Get out of here. Yeah, I won. See that? All right. Okay. This has been fun, kids. Bolt Manglespleen signing out. Make sure to find me on the YouTubes.
For today's Bible story, we're going to look back over the entire story of Joseph. We're going to look through all the situations that God took him through and observe how he was faithful in every single moment. It all began when Joseph was given a coat of many colors by his father Jacob. Joseph was his father's favorite son, and Joseph's brothers did not appreciate it. So his brothers attacked him one day, and they sold him into slavery. Joseph was taken to the country of Egypt and placed in the house of Potiphar, an Egyptian official. Potiphar's wife tempted Joseph to sin over and over again. But yet, Joseph did the right thing. He resisted temptation and stayed true to God. But Potiphar's wife lied about Joseph and said that he attacked her. So Joseph was then placed in prison. And while in prison, Joseph was faithful to God by serving others. He ended up interpreting the dreams of two men who were a part of Pharaoh's court. And when one of the men were allowed back into Pharaoh's court, Joseph asked the man to mention him to Pharaoh. Joseph ended up waiting over 2 years in prison, but he still remained faithful.
One day, Pharaoh had a dream that he couldn't figure out. Joseph ended up being asked to interpret the dream. As a reward, Pharaoh placed Joseph second in command in Egypt. One day, Joseph's brothers showed up to buy food. Instead of taking revenge, Joseph was faithful to God and chose to show mercy to his brothers. Not only did he give his brothers some food, but he gave them and invited them to move to Egypt to live safely with him. Now, that is being faithful. Years later, after his father died, Joseph had another chance to take revenge on his brothers. But Joseph told his brothers, "You intend to harm me, but God intended it all for good." Over and over, Joseph had opportunities to sin and do wrong. He had opportunities to have a bad attitude and blame God for the bad things that were happening. Instead, he chose to be faithful to God and do what was right. In your lesson today, you're going to learn how you can do the same thing as Joseph.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Joseph. This is Joseph, who was the son of Israel and Rachel. But he had 11 brothers who hated him and sold him into slavery. After being put in jail, Joseph told of the future of Egypt when he interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, and Joseph found favor with the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh made Joseph a leader in his kingdom. Just as Joseph had told the Pharaoh, Egypt had 7 years of abundance. Then the 7 years of abundance came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. But the Egyptians had food to eat because Joseph had planned for the famine. There was famine in all the other lands, and many came to Joseph to buy food. There was even a famine in the land that Joseph came from. So when Israel heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent his sons to buy some. But Israel did not send Benjamin with the others because he was afraid that harm might come to him. When Joseph's brothers came to him, Joseph recognized them, but he pretended to be a stranger. So Joseph decided to test his brothers. He had his interpreter tell them to send for Benjamin, who had stayed home. And then he threw his brothers in jail for 3 days. On the 3rd day, Joseph let all but one of the brothers take grain to their starving households with the instruction to bring Benjamin back. But Joseph provided for his brothers' journey and gave them grain and silver. The brothers did exactly as Joseph instructed, as they were scared that God was punishing them for what they had done to Joseph so many years before. They traveled home to their father's house, then back to Egypt. Now that he had seen that they brought Benjamin, Joseph was overwhelmed, so he released the brother who was still in prison. But Joseph decided to play one more trick on his brothers. He sent the brothers away but told his servant to hide his silver cup in Benjamin's bag. Then Joseph told the servant to go after the brothers and retrieve the cup. The brothers hadn't traveled far before the servant stopped them and accused them of stealing the cup. Joseph could no longer control himself before his attendants. He made them leave so he could be alone with his brothers, and he told his brothers who he really was.
Ta-da!
He told them of his life and all he had experienced, and he forgave them for what they had done. God was with Joseph and took care of him and showed him favor.
Is there anyone over there that's watching right now that loves cookies? Cookies are great, and my favorite happen to be chocolate chip cookies. Oh, they just taste so good, especially fresh out of the oven, and they're all soft and gooey in the middle. Well, you know, you may not like chocolate chips, but there are many options. There's sugar cookie, M&M's, Snickerdoodle, peanut butter. They're just really good. You know what? I think we should make some. Do you guys think we should make some cookies? I mean, right? That'd be good, okay? Awesome, sweet. I have some ingredients here, and we're just gonna mix it together. So first, we need to put in some butter, and I have a little container of butter here. So let's put some, well, you know what? We don't need the butter, right? How about some eggs? We should have some eggs in here, right? Got some eggs here. You know what? When you have eggs and you crack them, they get all gooey and they're raw. These cookies don't need that either. I know what we need. Let's get some chocolate chips. I think that'd be perfect. Oh, look, I mean, isn't that gonna make some great cookies? And then what about some baking soda? Baking soda? Yeah, do you think it's gross too? We shouldn't put that in our cookies. What about salt? We don't need salt. Sugar? I mean, we have the chocolate chips, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so now that I'm done mixing all these ingredients all together, let's ask Mr. Connor to come in and see if he would like to maybe finish the process, try the cookie dough, see what he thinks. Hey, Mr. Connor.
Hey, I heard someone's baking up some good, yummy cookies.
Yes, so I have all the ingredients that I chose right here.
These are your cookies?
Yeah. Don't they look great? I mean, like, that's some really good dough. There's nothing nasty in it. It's only things that are gonna be good.
Something doesn't look right. You didn't put in the flour or the baking soda?
No. Who needs those things? I mean, the chocolate chips are the best part of a chocolate chip cookie, right?
That is just an ingredient of the cookie. It's sure chocolate can be good. The only thing is you need the other ingredients in order to make the cookie taste good. These look awful. I'm not even gonna try one.
Okay, fine, I'm leaving.
It turns out, even though those ingredients didn't look good to Miss Elizabeth, they were important to the cookies in the long run. She should have been more faithful to the recipe. That's just how life is. Just like cookies are made up of a lot of different ingredients, some good and some maybe not so appealing, life is made up of moments. In fact, that's our first lesson today.
Life is made up of moments. In our lives, we have lots of moments that all add up together to make something great. You might be thinking, well, wait a second. I've had some rough moments in my life. How could these moments add up together to make something great? Isn't it just the good moments that make our lives great? Can't I just, forget about the other stuff? Can't I just forget about the bad moments? That is a big no way. We have to be faithful in every moment in our lives, even when we just don't feel like it. That's exactly what Joseph did. He had a crazy life. Lots of moments that were not very exciting. Remember, in between all the great successes, he was hated by his brothers. That wasn't a great moment. And then he was thrown into a pit and sold into slavery. That also wasn't a great moment. And he was even thrown into jail for something he didn't do. That was definitely not a great moment. But what did Joseph do? He didn't whine or complain or throw a fit. Instead, he
trusted God in every moment. Do you think it would have been easy to give up after all those things happened to Joseph? his brothers hating on him and selling him into slavery, Potiphar's wife tempting him and accusing him of something that he didn't do, going to jail. Absolutely. It would have been so easy for Joseph to give up on God and say, you know what, this is too hard. Here I am trying to be a good person, and all these bad things just keep happening to me. But do you know what would have happened if Joseph had done that? He probably would have stayed in that pit, or stayed in slavery, or stayed locked up in jail and have never gotten out. Why? Because when you don't trust in God, you trust in yourself instead. And trusting in yourself alone will never get you out of the impossible situations. We need God to help us with impossible situations. That's why Joseph had to trust God. And no matter how hard it got or how tough it was, he had to remain faithful in every single moment. And that's our last lesson.
Be faithful in every moment. When you are struggling in school to make a good grade on your homework, no matter how hard you try, you have to stay faithful. Keep working hard. When you're trying your best to make new friends, but you keep finding yourself sitting alone at recess or at lunch, stay faithful. God will help you out. When you get in trouble for something you didn't do, don't whine and complain, and don't throw a fit. Stay faithful to God. Pray that God will help you. When you're faithful to God, when you obey Him, He will help you to reach your potential. He will help you to be the guy or the girl that He wants you to be. God has great plans for each of you, and when it seems tough to handle and like there's no way anything could come out of your situation, you have to stay faithful to God in every moment. This verse, I love it. It says in Galatians 6:9, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we do not give up. If you keep doing what's right and stay faithful to God, He will show up just at the right time and bless you and take care of the situation, taking care of you. Even when it's hard and seems impossible, stay faithful and trust God in every moment.
For if we are faithful to the end, trusting God just as firmly as when we first believed, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. Hebrews 3:14.
Welcome, kids, to our review. My name's Connor, and this is Devontae, and we're going to review over some questions. So follow along with us and make sure you are answering them as correctly as you can. All right, what's up today?
What is up today? God wants us to be faithful?
Correct. He wants us to be faithful, not doubtful. All right, this is a true or false question. You got a 50% chance of getting this correct.
Okay.
Joseph was faithful to God even when times were hard.
That is definitely true.
That's
definitely true.
He sure was. An example to all of us. Okay, number 3. Whose house did Joseph serve in as a servant?
He served in Potiphar's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Want to know an easy way to remember that? You already had the answer, but I'll give you an easy way to remember
Sometimes
it.
I forget, so yeah, what's the easy way?
So like Potiphar, just think, pot, like a pot of a plant, and Joseph, he had a coat. I don't have a real way of remembering that. I was trying to think of one on the spot, but it didn't work. All right, next question.
I see where you're going, yeah.
Yes.
Potiphar, yeah.
Exactly. All right. How long did Joseph have to wait in prison before he was mentioned to Pharaoh? How many years or months?
It was not 1 month.
No.
It was not 6 months. It was not even a year. It was 2 years.
2 años. Crazy. All right. Last question for you. Did Joseph forgive his brothers, yes or no?
Yes. He did forgive them. Absolutely he did.
I don't know if I could, but he did.
Okay. Are you ready, Connor?
Yes.
Here's your questions. Starting with number 6.
Okay.
Joseph learned how to be blank in every moment.
He learned how to be faithful.
Yeah, you're
faithful.
Right.
Yes.
He learned how to be faithful. He was faithful to God, trusting that God was in control.
Yes.
All right. Question number 7. According to our lesson today, life is made up of blank.
Life is made up of moments.
Different moments that we have to learn to be faithful.
Exactly.
Good job. All right, according to our lesson today, blank God in every moment.
Trust.
We
Trust
need to
him.
trust God in every moment. Absolutely. Another one, according to our lesson today, be faithful in blank moment. Be faithful in every moment.
Yeah.
Good job.
Not some. Every single one.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Just like Joseph. Okay, last question.
Yes.
You guys keeping up? Okay, good. Where was our power verse found?
Ooh. I think it was found in Hebrews chapter 3, verse 14.
Hebrews 3:14. That is it.
Woo!
Great job, you guys. We really enjoyed going over these review questions with you. We hope you learned a lot. Take care, and we'll see you on the next review session.
Hasta luego. Uno, y dos, y tres. God wants me to be faithful. Great job, boys and girls. Hopefully you learned some Spanish and you learned our what's up.
Through these lessons, we have seen Joseph's life, and sometimes he's been in some hard situations. No matter what the situation is, I hope the one thing that you've learned is that God was always faithful to Joseph, even when it didn't seem like he was. God came through, God blessed him, and God will do the same for you. Hope you have a great day and a great week at school.